This mutation is called Growing Threat and is played on missed opportunities. We have Transmutation, Mutually Assured Destruction, and Alien Incubation. A really nasty set of mutators. Over here we have Raynor, who is floating his command center and moving his SCVs to the side of the map. So this is going to be a solo run. So this is going to be a solo Dehaka that will be playing through this mutation with no assistance from his Raynor ally. So this is going to be a little bit interesting. So this mutator combination is actually really nasty because you're going to kill enemy units. The broodlings are going to spawn from those enemy units, and then if they end up killing stuff, they will get buffed by transmutation. And then as they keep killing stuff, transmutation will eventually create a hybrid, and then the hybrid, when you kill it, is going to detonate a nuke, so it is going to cause a lot of violence. You can see over here that that actually kind of it hit Dehaka once, and just very unlucky for him, triggered transmutation. So it does get really annoying. Dehaka is just slapping down that firebat at the moment, and there are a couple of broodlings that have been left over there. And now he's going to clean up whatever is left of the enemy defenders on this side. There's one zealot and one small broodling over here. But you gotta be very careful when you are playing against transmutation with Dehaka, because stuff like that can happen. One thing that can also happen, which does work in Dehaka's favor, is when you push into an enemy base, or when you push into this can happen. You can get a sentry, which creates a psionic unit, which you can actually use to kill the other enemy defenders on that side. So if you do get lucky, you can end up with a High Templar, or a sentry, or some other psionic unit, which does play to your benefit. But, you know, you will be relying on luck if you intend to use something like that. See, there we go, High Templar again. Very useful for Dehaka to end up killing that stuff. Dehaka's over here, and he is going to be taking his expansion. And he is going to start working his way now and clearing this last enemy camp. There is an attack wave that has spawned, and notice how careful Dehaka is when he's pushing into these small camps. He does not want to aggro all those units and then eventually end up with a really nasty unit that he cannot deal with. So he is actually focusing them down really slowly. He's just poking in, leaving, poking in, leaving, and that ensures that transmutation does not get out of control. So we have a bunch of adepts here. The one of the adepts transforms into Goliath. The second one also transforms into Goliath, which is kind of funny. But Dehaka ends up eating that Goliath now, and we just have two more adepts that are left over there. I think Dehaka is just gonna go here and clean up those last two zealots. One zealot over there, takes out the broodlings, and then there's another zealot on this side as well, and he'll clean up that side too. Raynor, on the other hand, just chilling over here, watching the fun, watching the party. And now Dehaka is basically just gonna wait for the attack waves to come in. So we'll see what this attack wave brings in terms of transmutation. One thing to note though on this mission is because the attack waves are relatively low tech level at the start of the game, it's actually very difficult to tell what the enemy composition is. So that Phoenix was going to make a beeline for his base, so he chose to just eat that Phoenix up. But you can see there's a High Templar over there, which is very useful for him to just go ahead and eat. But again, he has to be kind of careful. See, he kind of missed that High Templar, and now it's a siege tank. So it does get really annoying after some time. But Glevic comes down here to make sure transmutation does not get out of control. Those are two attack waves, so those two harass waves are now done. So he drops Glevic now here to try and take this bonus objective out. Glevic casts a Scorched Breath, instantly one-shots a lot of the units that are defending that side. There is a Zealot there that seems to not be bothered that it's getting hit by Glevic. And now there's an Immortal on this side as well. Immortal gets taken out by the next Scorched Breath. One Stalker almost dead, managed to blink out of the way, I think. And now Glevic is alive. So Glevic has just been repositioned here. And now there's a Scorched Breath that goes down here to weaken this side. And there is a sentry, I think, that might have survived. I think Dehaka might be interested in taking out that sentry too. But he has to be really careful. If he jumps in there and transmutation goes out of control, he's going to lose the game. So He is, I think he's taking it safely now, and he decides, you know what, I'm just going to use my Scorched Breath to take out whatever's there. Yeah, he's staying away, eats up that Immortal. Relatively inefficient, but he has to play it safe. Aggressive play can make you lose the game if you are not careful, so... We have a bunch of Primal Wardens that are coming down for Dehaka. He has not put down his okay, his Darkran's Den is down, but it is in the process of being made. And he is going for what looks like to be Mutalisk upgrades, so he might be going for a mass Mutalisk build here with Dehaka.
Another brawl begins.
So over here is basically an example of what can happen when units are triggered by Transmutation. They lose their leashing to where they are supposed to be, so it means that if they are given attack orders to go directly to the player's base. So if there's nothing near them that they can target, they will go straight for the player's base. And this happens to all units that get impacted by Transmutation. So very important to make sure that you are paying attention. By the way, I believe this player who is playing Dehaka is Fentonest, who is a very, very famous speedrunner, a very high-skilled player. So he's one of the best co-op, like he's arguably one of the best co-op players on the planet. So feel free to check him out. He has a YouTube channel as well. You can check that out and see some of his runs and mutations and stuff. He's really, really good, if it's not already obvious. We have another attacker that's come up over here. Doctrine spawns and has taken out most of the defenders on this wave. There is a Warhound that gets spawned on this side.
Your Zerg are done mutating.
Intriguing.
Again, another attack wave been taken out by Darkran. So Darkran has taken out 2 of these attack waves, which is very, very useful for Dehaka. But he will be pressured into... Okay, so he's moving the rest of his guys over now to take out this bonus objective. While Dehaka has blocked himself over here. Eats up the Thor, which came out from Transmutation. Always making sure that there are no enemy units around here to cause problems. There is an attack wave on this side. And the stack wave is moving up this ramp, so that'll be okay. And Dehaka is in position. There's a roar. Dehaka jumps over into this side. He takes out the sentries through this, and now there are only Banshees and a bunch of Stalkers are left over. But these things will be cleaned up by the Mutalisks here. He has to be very careful. Dehaka has to be really careful about how he chooses to engage these attack waves. Because, yeah, Transmutation can quickly get out of control very, very quickly. Mutalisks now are going to push into the next area over here. Dehaka ends up devouring the sentry. The Mutalisks kill steal Dehaka on that side, and now there's a Thor out here, and now there is a hybrid, so Dehaka will have to dodge this hybrid. Yeah, he ends up dodging that hybrid. So that's why I was talking about Transmutation being really, really not fun to play against when you have mutually assured destruction. Because, yeah, a hybrid can spawn, and if you end up taking out the hybrid, it detonates a nuke and you end up losing your army. And that is how bad stuff happens. A very nice Devour here for Dehaka. It gets the sentry and takes out a lot of the enemy units that are defending that side. But Dehaka now has a good number of Mutalisks as well, and they are, I think, level 1 attack upgraded, so that's really good for them. Notice how he has also gotten his armor upgrades. So, getting the armor upgrades mitigates the damage the Mutalisk takes, obviously, but it also reduces the chance the Transmutation is going to proc and generate something that you do not really want to deal with. Again, another Devour goes down on one of the sentries, ends up wiping a lot of the enemy forces here. That hybrid gets devoured by Dehaka, gets detonated by nuke. Dehaka devours that hybrid Dominator and just gets smoked by that nuke over there. So Dehaka will be a while before he respawns. But the Mutalisks are on this side, and they are ready to defend this harvesting bot. Dehaka has just respawned now, and is making his way back to where he got wrecked by that hybrid Dominator. There's another attack wave that's coming up on here as well. And Dehaka has...
Our soldiers are in combat.
A bunch of Broodlings that are harassing this harvesting bot, so Dehaka just jumps in, wipes out these Broodlings. Mutalisks clean up whatever is left on this side. This bot was... did it take any damage though? It did not actually take any damage, which is kind of funny. Mutalisks are here now, also handling this other attack wave. They are getting a little bit battered by the Liberator here, so a few of them have died, I believe, in the process. Yeah, 2 Mutalisks have gone down so far in that engagement. The respawn is really good there. There is a hybrid that is sitting over here, so Dehaka again has to be careful. He does not really want to lose all his Mulisks. He does spot that hybrid, so he is being careful now. Drops Glevic down to try and draw some aggro. Uses his Scorched Breath to wipe out the attack wave, and then he devours the hybrid. And Glevic can basically just tank whatever's there. So he's going to push in. The Hybrid Dominator has spawned over there. Plasma Blast does go down. I don't know on what though. What was the target over there? But this Hybrid Dominator is mad. It is trying to get there. And there are 2 hybrids already. And these are major hybrids, so that means they do detonate the bigger nukes. So Hybrid Behemoth and a Dominator on this side. So Dehaka will have to try and engage this very carefully. He does not really want to lose his army. Murvar is here to just stall these hybrids just a little bit, and now we have a Loki that's out as well, and now that is a Hybrid Dominator over there. It must have killed off some of the other units that were spawned from Murvar. So there goes the Hybrid Dominator, detonates a nuke, takes out Murvar and one of the other guys there, and Dehaka devours the other Hybrid Dominator and jumps out of the way and survives. So Dehaka is just cleaning up the small enemy camp on this side, and he wants to go and engage this one. Now this attack wave that's coming up does have hybrids automatically with it, so that makes it a little bit more difficult to handle. So we'll see how he chooses to do this. Dehaka jumps in first. There are 2 major hybrids on this side, so these things are going to detonate these larger nukes. Dehaka runs away and spawns Dakran on this side just to try and stall the stack with just a little bit of damage. Dehaka is poking in with his Mutalisk. Hybrid Dominator casts his Plasma Blast on one of the Mutalisks over there. Pokes in again. Star Step micros the Mutalisk, trying to focus down this Dominator. Dominator goes down, Mutalisks run out of the way. A lot of these Mutalisks are in the red because, oh, the Hybrid Dominator gets a Plasma Blast. All these Mutalisks pretty much almost dead now, and there is a Hybrid Dominator and a Hybrid Destroyer there. 2 Greater Primal Worms come down just to try and stall this hybrid. Takes out one of the hybrids, and these 2 things go down now. And now there's a Hybrid Behemoth that is working its way towards Dehaka's base. Again, lots of Mutalisks over here, and another hybrid that was there detonates a nuke and wipes out all of Dehaka's Mutalisks, so they're all respawning. So these things can't respawn anytime soon now. And there is one last Hybrid Behemoth on this side. This thing will go down relatively quickly. Just has to lure it out of his base here. He does not really want to lose his production as he kills this Behemoth. Behemoth goes down, nuke goes off, and takes out one of the Primal Wardens here. So that is that. But yeah, in that whole engage, so far Dehaka has died twice, but he's only lost 4 Mutalisks, which is kind of surprising there. I thought he would have lost a lot more than that. Dehaka is going to push now here and start clearing this enemy base. So he's just cleaning up the sentries. There's another Hybrid Behemoth again, detonates a major nuke. Gotta be careful, jumps out of the way of that nuke, and the hybrid is dead. Now this area can be cleared. He has one last camp to clear, and this is the camp over here. This is again, there is another hybrid over there. Instantly becomes a Hybrid Dominator. He's going to focus fire that down with his Mutalisk. Snipes out the hybrid. The hybrid is gone now, and now he is free to clear whatever's left of the enemy defenders here, because I don't believe there's another hybrid. He just has to be careful. Like, you know, Transmutation can sometimes just spawn a hybrid underneath you, and if you have a lot of damage, like these Mutalisks are outfitting, they will end up killing the hybrid and end up killing themselves. So again, these Mutalisks are all in the red, and they need some time to regenerate their HP. Another harass wave is coming up to try and take out the spot here. Dehaka deep tunnels across, eats one of the sentries, really nice devour there, instantly wipes out everything with this side, and he is fine now. In total, Dehaka has 23 Mutalisks at 25 right now, so he has a good number of Mutalisks, but he has to be really, really careful. He can easily lose that Mutalisk flock. Now there's a double wave here, so we're going to go with this one. Dehaka's going to devour that sentry, instantly wipes out this attack wave. We're going to move over here now and take a look at how this wave is getting dealt with. One Glevic Scorched Breath instantly wipes this attack wave, so very good use of the cooldowns there. So far so good. This mission seems to be relatively under control, minus the little hybrid shenaniganry that happened a little bit earlier after the third wave of bots. But again, Dehaka's over here, walks through, instantly one-shots this attack wave, jumps, Scorched Breath, attack wave is gone. Dehaka is just wandering around over here. He has a bunch of greater primal worms on this side. There's an attack wave now on this side. And they end up picking off one of these Mulisks, but Dehaka's in position now. And again, one Devour on the sentry instantly wipes that attack wave. And that is basically what Dehaka is all about. Protoss compositions, especially compositions such as this one, which is techie, will give you a lot of sentries on the ground, and it's very, very useful to try and just eat these silent units. See, look at these Dark Templars, look at these sentries. Very, very prime targets for Dehaka to devour. He can wipe out the attack waves very, very quickly. So I believe Dehaka wants to do the bonus objective now. He's trying to do a perfect mission run, and he is well on his way. Now there is a hybrid dominator in that base as well, so it's going to be a little bit more tricky for Dehaka to jump in and take that out. So there's a hybrid dominator. Oh, and there's a hybrid behemoth over there. Nuke goes off, but you can see now Dehaka doesn't really care very much. He has a lot of HP. He is the big fatty right now, and he can actually tank all of that damage. So he's luring the Dominator, the Behemoth away. But he's just gonna go and take out that bonus objective now. I think he might end up ignoring the hybrid actually, or pick it off finally with a bunch of Mulisks. Seems to not really be interested in doing that. Yeah, so that was actually kind of clever. What he did is he just lured the guy away and cleaned up the bonus objective with his Mulisks, and then just ignored it, which was useful. The reason why he cleared the Dominator, obviously, is because the Dominator has abilities. It can Plasma Blast the hybrids, it can Plasma Blast the Mulisks, and it can Storm the Mulisks. So he doesn't really want to have that going for him. Now he's going to start pushing into here. Again, Devour on the High Templar instantly wipes out a lot of the units on this side. And this space is still relatively strong. There is a Battlecruiser here, but the Battlecruiser gets taken out relatively quickly. Another Viking is harassing these Mulisks as well. And now this hybrid needs to be sniped out as well. So this hybrid is almost dead. And Dehaka slaps the hybrid and jumps away. Hybrid Dominator has spawned now on this side. It casts its Plasma Blast and its Storm here for this. Dehaka devours that hybrid and jumps out of the way. And again, nuke goes off, missing Dehaka and his army entirely. And now I believe they're just basically a Reaver and a bunch of Stalkers here, so these Mulisks should be able to clean up relatively easily. One of the things you gotta be careful about is you gotta clean up these Broodlings, because if there is nothing for these Broodlings to aggro, they will go to your base. And obviously if you don't have any defenders at your base, these things will compound with Transmutation, and then suddenly you'll find that you have a Hybrid Dominator in your base that's wrecking havoc in your mineral line. So always be careful about that. One last Reaver over here. It doesn't really do anything to the Mulisks because Reaver anti-air damage is relatively low. But Dehaka now is I believe in full Godzilla mode as well. I think he's max level, so he's good to go. And he is relatively happy. You can see over here that Dehaka has put down some of the Primal Worms as static defense. I believe this is there just to try and stall these attack waves. Dehaka is going to single-handedly engage this one, which is a good idea because there's a sentry over there. Eats up the sentry and that goes down relatively quickly. There's another attack wave that's coming up here, so Dehaka is going to move his Mulisks on this side now to try and clear this side. And again, there will be some transmutations that will be occurring. You can see the life that's spawned over there. Because his Mutalisk will inevitably take damage. Dehaka is going to move up here now. And again, sentries, devour, instantly one-shots most of this attack wave. And he cleans up whatever is left with his abilities. He's going to do the same thing again for this wave too. So far so good. Dehaka has this mission under control. He has a good number of Mutalisks and a good number of static defense here to just hold down this area. He's going to try and engage this attacker again. Now there are Phoenixes on this side, so it is going to be a little bit more difficult for him to clean up. He's probably going to need to get his Mutalisk or devour that sentry over there, and he wipes that out. That was very nice micro from Dehaka over there. He devours a sentry first to wipe out most of the ground composition, then he moves underneath the Phoenixes and lets the sentry come to him. And he devours that to clear these Phoenixes over here. Phoenixes, again, can cause a lot of problems because they will make a beeline for your base if you're not paying attention. Mulisks come up here, clear this attack wave, this harass wave, sorry, and essentially everything seems to be under control now. We have one more wave coming up here, so he's going to send his Mulisks to deal with Phoenixes on this side and uses Dehaka to clear whatever's left of the ground wave on here. And I think there should be one more harass wave and one more attack wave that should be spawning. So he's going to do a split here. Mulisks will be moving up here to try and engage the harass wave whenever it spawns, and Dehaka will be dealing with the attack wave that'll be coming up in just a bit. So if you, let's look at this harass wave first. Mulisks make relatively short work of the Phoenixes here. This attack wave is relatively large and relatively high tech level, so he drops his Morvar down to weaken this attack wave. And one of the hybrids does end up dying. Detonates a large nuke, but that is fine because Morvar can't tank that kind of damage, and he's essentially cleared all that side out. And there is a Glavik that gets dropped here. Takes out most of the ground wave, but there is a lot of air units here, so he uses the Mutilus to clean up whatever's left. And I don't know if Dehaka ended up dying in that. Yeah, he did end up getting smoked by that nuke, but again, there's very little bit left. There are a bunch of broodlings that have spawned, a bunch of immortals. That hybrid's going to detonate a nuke, so he does not move out of the way, and his Mulisks all get smoked by that one nuke. But his Mulisks will respawn, and that is the last attack wave, so for the most part he is okay. So in total he's lost, actually not a lot. Like, Dehaka did die 3 times, but you know, that's kind of okay. He lost 7 Mulisks in that game only, which is pretty insane. But there you go. That is some high level co-op for you guys. And the last bot has made its way back to the base, which means Stetman is happy, and that is GG.